הקדוש, בוקר טוב, תזכו שתהיים רבות נעימות וטובות. מסכת כתובות דף קט"ד עמוד א' 104a1. ההוא יומא דנח נפשי דרבי. The day that Rabbi was passing away. Kazur Rabbanan ta'anita. So they went and they made a ta'anit. So imagine, the day that Rabbi passed away, they made a ta'anit. Uba'u rachameh, so they asked mercy. Ve'amrin, they said, Kol man da'amar nach nafshei deRabbi. Anybody that comes and says the Rabbi passed away, they're going to come, they're going to stab them. What does that mean? You see from here the power of the mouth. Because basically, whoever was going to say that he passed away, it meant that the verdict was already done. Even though he passed away, if they didn't say that he passed away, they could still change it. Something incredible. I don't know if you guys actually, mamash, paying attention. Mamash, they went and they said, he's going to be stabbed by the sword. Right? Why? Because they knew that the second that they said that, that's it. They cannot do it. Because then they would have to pray for Tchiyat HaMetim. That's much more difficult. But if not, they could actually mamash, bring him back. There's a bin down there. So yeah, mamash, something incredible. Fine. What happened? Silka amte de Rebbe ligra. So the maidservant of Rebbe went up to the gag. She went to the igra. To the igra is the roof, right? She went up to the roof. The Amran, she said, Elyonim mevakshin et Rebbe. She says the malachim, they want Rebbe to come upstairs. Right? That's the Elyonim. Word Elyonim, the malachim asharet. Right? Vatachtonim b'bnei Yisrael mevakshin et Rebbe. No, we down here, we also want Rabbi. So everybody wants Rabbi. Yehi ratzon she'achufu tachtonim et alyonim. It should be that they're going to come and they're going to force the tachtonim et alyonim. What does that mean? The bottom ones to the top ones. So given the chazai kamazim nidale bet hakiseh, once they saw that Rabbi kept on going to the washroom, because remember, Rabbi had cholem miyayim. And we just actually learned a few days ago that if somebody dies or somebody has cholem miyayim, right? Cholemayim is like intestinal problems that they have to go to the washroom a lot. It's actually a blessing for them. You remember when we spoke about if a person passes away on Erev Shabbat, or if he passed away on Erev Kippur was a bad sign. Motzei Kippur is a good sign. If it was, you understand, like all these different signs. On Erev Shabbat was a good sign because that means they pass away and they go straight to Gan Eden until for Shabbat, and then afterwards they come down. Does that mean that there are certain times which are good signs? And then we said that Cholemayim, right, was actually something very, very good. You remember? We just learned this yesterday. It says here on Kuf Gimel Amud Bet. Kuf Gimel Amud Bet, it said, Met mechole me'ayin. It's the last line before it gets wide. Look on Kuf Gimel Amud Bet. One line before it gets wide, right? On the bottom, towards the bottom, like the bottom third. You see one line before it gets wide. It says, Met mechole me'ayin siman yafelo mipnei sherubam shel tzadikim mitatam bechole me'ayin. It's a Gemara Mefureshet. You understand? So we have it here. Okay, so it's somebody that's passing away from Cholei Me'ayin. So here it says, so all of a sudden he had Cholei Me'ayin. Right? So what happened? Vechalatz tefillin. Right? He took off his tefillin, because obviously if you go to the washroom, you take off the tefillin. Remember, they used to wear tefillin all day. Right? Umanach lehu. And then, right, become mitzvah. And then again, he put it on the, he was a mitzvah. Amra, she said, Yehi ratzon she'achufu elyonim et atachtonim. She said it should be the will of God that the upper ones. What?
What is it?
No, this is not the mother, the maidservant. No. This is the amte. The amte is the ama is the maidservant. So she went and she said he should. Now remember, the maidservant of Rabbi was not a regular, you understand, a regular woman. Like we learned talachot from her. We learned the explanations, right, in Gimarot and things like that from her. Because she used to say, the second she said a word, they understood words and psukim based upon what she said, whether it was a broom and other things. It was like, no, we're talking about somebody very important. She comes and she said, it should be the will, the Rebbe should pass away. But the rabbis did not let it happen. They were always asking, they were praying that he should live. So what did she do? Shakla kuza, she took a cheres katana utensil, shadya meigra le'ara, and she threw it from the roof to the floor. What happened? It smashed. And then what happened? They stopped for a second. You know, when you get all of a sudden, you get all, they get all stalled and shocked. You stop for a second. They stopped for a second. And he passed away. So they told Bar Kapara, Zilayen, go look at him. Go look at Rabbi. Right? Because basically, since they stopped for that 1 second, they realized that that's it. You understand? Meaning that they understood the power of the Torah, right? And the power of Tefillah is only at that moment. They understood if they stop for 1 second, Gamar, no, there's nothing to talk about anymore. So when they told Bar Kapara, no, go check Rabbi. What happened? Azali went, right? He found that he was niftar. So so he went and he tore his clothing. However, though, he put it on behind him in order that they shouldn't understand that he passed away. Remember, what would they do? They would tear the clothing. So they tear the clothing. Now, there's halacha. When they tear the clothing, they're not allowed to turn it on the backside. Because if you put it on the backside, people can't realize it because they would tear the front part of the clothing. And even if you had a jacket or something, they would still be able to see the tear. Now, what happens is if you would have put it on the backside, so then it was covered by the clothing on the back. So therefore, you can't really tell. So therefore, that's what he did. He tore his clothing. Yes, exactly. He tore the clothing, right? But he didn't want them to understand. So he flipped it around. All of a sudden, Patach ve'amar, he went and he said, Erelim mitzukim, right? The malachim and the tzaddikim, which they are mitzuke eretz, right? That's what it says over here. Rashi says mitzuke eretz are like the amudim of the land, meaning the tzaddikim, because the world is maintained upon them, so therefore they are mitzuke eretz. Achzu ba'aron hakodesh, they took the aron hakodesh. Nitzchu erelim et mitzukim. However, that means basically there's Aron HaKodesh, which is Rabbi. Rabbeinu HaKadosh is Aron HaKodesh. You had the Malachim, right? And you had the Tzadikim. Erelim are the Malachim. Erelim, right? Erelim, or that's what we say on the Yom Kippur. One of the things are the Erelim. Erelim are one of the types of the Malachim. So if Erelim and the Tzadikim are grabbing onto the Aron HaKodesh, however, though the Malachim, they won, and the Mitzukim, they won the Mitzukim, the Tzadikim, then Yishba Aron HaKodesh. And then what happened was, it was captured. Some Rulay, they went and they told him, Nach Nafshe, says what? He was niftar. Amarlu, he says, Atun kamlitu. Vana lo kamina. You guys said it. I didn't say it. Meaning he gave them the hint. It was a very simple hint, you understand? But he gave them the hint. But they were the ones that said he passed away. He didn't actually want to say it. So Bishtat Petirato Shel Rabbi, so when Rabbi was going to pass away, he took up his 10 fingers upwards, and he said, it's known, it's revealed in front of you that I tried with my 10 fingers to learn Torah. I didn't benefit from this world, not even with my small finger, the pinky. It should be the will of Hashem, that it should be Shalom in his menucha when he's going to pass away. And that's what we actually say for the people that passed away. Yavo Shalom, there should be Shalom on the places. Al mishkavecha mibaile. So says the Gemara, what does it mean mishkavotam? Mishkavotam is plural. It should be al mishkavotecha when he passed away. So says the Gemara, this is a proof to Rabbi Bar Gamda. The Amar Rabbi Bar Gamda Yosef ben Shaul, Shash Tzadik niftar min haolam. When the Tzadik passes away, Omrim Malachei Asharei lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? The Malachim, they come and they say too in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'no Shalom, Tzadik ploni ba. Right, Tzaddik, this Tzaddik is coming. And he says, Yavo Tzaddikim. So all the Tzaddikim, they come out to agree that Tzaddik, that he's coming to them. They tell him, Yavo v'Shalom, Yanucha mishkevotam, right, that there should be peace on mishkevotam. Why? Because all the Tzaddikim are there. So Amar Bilazar says, Bilazar b'shash Tzaddik niftar min when the Tzaddik is going to be niftar from the world, Shalosh kitot shamalachei asher yotzim lekato. There are going to be 3 groups of malachei asher that they come out to greet him. Achat omer lo, one of them says, Bo v'Shalom, come in peace. One of them says, Olach necho. One of them says, Yavo Shalom Yikom Shkotam. When the Rasha passes away from the world, Shalosh Kitot Shamalachei Chabala Yotzei Lekato. There are 3 groups of Malachei Chabala that they come out to greet him. Malachei Chabala. You heard when it's Rishayim Malachei Chabala. When it's Tzadikim, it's the Malachei Sharet. One of them says, En Shalom Amar Hashem L'Shreim. One of them says, L'Matzeva Yishkav. The other one says, Redav Yashkava Et Arelim. Go. So basically, these are all the curses. Basically, the differences between tzaddikim and Rish. Mishnah calls manshi bevet avia gova ketubata. So this until here was a beautiful story, all to do with Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, something incredible. Okay, but let's continue. Okay, so basically like this. It says here, calls manshi bevet avia gova ketubata leolam. So all the time that the almanah is in the house of her father, so therefore she's going to be the gova, the ketubata forever. Calls manshi bevet bala. As long as she's going to be in the house of her father, of her husband, so she could collect it until 25 years. Okay, so that means again one more time. If the almana went to the house of her father, she could always collect her ketubah. Doesn't matter when it is. But if she's in the husband's house, she could only collect it for 25 years. But after 25 years, she cannot collect it anymore. But basically, the 25 years is going to be the good keneged the shovi of the ketubah, which means that if she has the value of the ketubah, after 25 years, she for sure ate up that value. So therefore, that's it. Okay? These are the words of mean. Chachamim come and they argue in this. As long as she's in her husband's house, she could always collect her ketubah. But as long as she's going to be in the house of her father, then she could collect it until 25 years. Meta, if right now she dies, so they could come, meaning her inheritors could take it until 25 years. Remember, it's not always the same inheritors, because remember, if she could be an almanah, but the children of the husband is not the same as her children, if she was previously married, or so on and so forth. Says the Gemara, when it's talking about an aniyah of Israel, she could take it for 25 years. Okay, so she could take it for 25 years. Marta babaitus ad 25 shani. But what? Marta babaitus also could take it for 25 years, which means the question is like this. I don't understand. You're going to tell me that an aniyah and a rich, affluent woman are the exact same? It doesn't make sense. You understand? Here in Mitzad Echad, you have an aniyah. After 25 years, you said that's it. And all of a sudden, you're going to come and you're going to tell me now that besides the aniyah, you're going to have now this rich woman, and it's the same thing. Obviously, the ketubot are completely two different things. So obviously, you can't compare both cases. So Elmaleh, he says, you're right. According to the Gamal, so too it's burden. What does that mean? Right? That means basically the more that they have, right? The ketubatan of the Ashira is much more. And the Aniyah is much less. Right? So therefore, accordingly, so too they're going to eat it up longer, meaning that each one, according to its burden, right? Sometimes the gamal, the stronger it is, the more it is. Okay? So we're going to ask a question. Let it be mean according to Rabbi Meir. Can she divide the ketubah according to the cheshbon? So therefore, for example, if she wasn't the 25 years there, only a certain amount, do you start subtracting that amount? Meaning, let's say she was only 12 years, 12 and a half years. So you now deduct 50% of the ketubah or not? Teiku, we don't have an answer. Okay, nekuda. Next. Chachamim come and say that as long as she's going to be bevet, bala, as long as she's going to be in the house of her husband, she can always collect the ketubah. Elmaleh Rabbi Yosef, Atay kodem shkiyat hachama uva ketubata. Lachar shkiyat hachama lo gavia, right? Shebehi purta achilta. This is 1 second. What did we just say? We just said that according, what is the reason why the 25 years doesn't make sense? If she came 5 minutes before the 25 years, so she could collect the ketubah. 5 minutes after Shekiyah of that 25 years, now she cannot collect the ketubah. So he says, now what? He says, in that 5 minutes, she's going to be mochelet. What's going on? So Elmaleh comes and he says, right? Elmaleh in yes, kol midat chachamim keni. That's always the midat of chachamim. Be'arba'im se'ah tovel. 40 se'ah, you could be tovel on a mikveh. Be'arba'im se'ah chasek tovim is lacking a few drops. No, and we're cholit bo b'hen. So you see from here that the shita of the rabbis, meaning the concept of what the rabbis are doing, are exact. And even if it's 2 minutes before, there's a huge difference. That's the way that it is. Okay? So Amar Rav Yehuda Rav says Rav Yehuda Rav, either Bishlam Rav Yosef B'fnei Rabbi, Shama Mishum Aviv, testified Rabbi Shlomo Rav Yosef in front of Rabbi, and that he said in the name of his father, Lo Shana, what are we talking about? Ela she'en shta ketubah yotzeh mitach yedea. Only if she doesn't have shta ketubah. But shta ketubah yotzeh mitach yedea, but she does have the shta ketubah. Govak ketubah ta'olam, she can always collect her ketubah. Rabbi Lazar says no. Afilu shta ketubah yotzeh mitach yedea, even if she does have the shtar underneath her hands, she could only collect for 25 years. So Mati Rav Shesha comes and asks the following question: Balchov govesh lo baskara. A balchov, can he come and he collect even without them, even if he kept quiet for 25 years, right? Or not? Meaning, imagine, you owe me money for 25 years. And I kept quiet, I didn't say anything. After 25 years, I could still collect? It says the Gemara, hey, what's the case? He doesn't have the shtar, so how's he going to collect? Ela, obviously he has the shtar. So Balchov, so obviously a Balchov, he's never mochel. Halmana, or an almana, achilta. So she's mochelet or ketubah. So who motilam farlega? So he asked the question, he also answered it. Lolam delona kishtar. Really, bemet, he didn't have a shtar. What are we dealing with when he's admitting to it? Meaning the guy that he's admitting to it. So since he's admitting to it, right, we're going to say that until 25 years it's fine. Afterwards, no. We learned in a Braita, grusha is like a balchov. So what does that mean? If a divorced woman is like a balchov, what's the case? If she doesn't have the ketubah, so how's she collecting? Elalav, obviously she has a ketubah. So grusha, so obviously a grusha will never forgive her ketubah. Because a woman that she just got divorced, she wants the money from this husband. She's not going to be mochelet to her husband. Halmana, maybe halmana is going to be mochelet. Meaning a grusha, usually they're getting divorced because of animosity, meaning there's hatred or something there. So obviously there, she's not going to be mochelet. But here, maybe she is going to be mochelet. So answers the Gemara. Obviously, here we're talking about also that they were modeh, which means that since he was modeh, that she didn't accept it, so therefore he still owes it to her. So Amar Nachman bar Yitzchak said Nachman Yitzchak, Tanner Yehuda bar Kaza. We learned the name of this is Yehuda bar Kaza. That's his name, the name of the Chacham. B'matznita bar Kaza, they learned in the Braita of bar Kaza Tav'a ketubata. If right now she asked for her ketubah within the 25 years, 104b, so then she starts again the 25 years. Meaning if within the 25 years she asks for the ketubah even once, you start a new count of 25 years. Why? Because that shows that she was never mochelet. Because she asked for the ketubah. So now you start the count again. You take a timer. Meaning as long as I keep on reminding it, it's like extensions. Nowadays, she didn't get it obviously, but it's like an extension. You come, you have to put your taxes until April 15 or whatever it is. What happens? You ask for an extension. They give you until August. Nowadays, they start giving them until October. You ask for another, you understand? You continue, you understand? Meaning you continue going, right? You continue going and you continue asking for extensions. So the same thing, meaning is, but you have to ask for it. Because if you didn't ask for it, you're late. But as long as you ask for it, you start a new timer. You start the same thing. Within the 25 years, you ask for an extension, you ask for ketubah, you start a new 25 years. Okay, one second. Okay. Right? Shalach le Rav Nachman bar Rav Chasal Rav Nachman Yaakov Yilamdenu Rabbeinu. Our rabbi, you should teach us. Sorry, however, you have the shtak ketubah, she could always collect the ketubah. So Shalach le Rav Nachman bar Rav Chasal Rav Nachman Yaakov, ask Rav Nachman bar Rav Chasal to Rav Nachman bar Yaakov, Yilamdenu Rabbeinu, our teacher, you should teach us. Shtak ketubah yotze mitachet yada, machloket, is the machloket when she has the ketubah in her hands, or when she doesn't have the shtak ketubah in her hands, and that's when it's a machloket. Then how do we pass him? Like Rabbi or Chachamim? You collect forever, only 25 years. So shalach le b'shen shtak ketubah yotze mitachet yada, machloket. When there's no ketubah, then it's a machloket between Rabbi and Chachamim. But shtak ketubah yotze mitachet yada. But if she does have the ketubah, she can always collect the ketubah. However, though, you asked, how do we paskin? Anyway, paskin like chachamim. So anyway, there's no nafkamina. Because basically what happens is that you could always, an almana, right, that she's living by your father's house, she could collect it until 25 years, right, if she does it. But if she's living by the husband, she can always collect it. Okay? Fine. Kiata Rav Dimi, when Rav Dimi came from it, said to Bavel, Amar Rabbi Shimon Pazi Mishom Levi Mishom Bar Kapara, says Shimon Pazi Mishom Levi Bar Kapara, Lo Shano we're dealing with. He says Ela Manam time. That's only talking about the Manama time. Aval Tosefet Yesh La Lolam, which means the Ikara of the Ketubah, 100 zuz or 200 zuz, or Betula or Beula, Almana, Grusha, all these things. That we're talking about Manama time. There, it's going to be forgiven or not forgiven. But the Tosefet, which is the extra that you don't on, you always get forever. Rabbi Yavu then says, she doesn't get the Tosefet. Rabbi Yavu, Aiva, Memri, and I. The Tnai of the Ketubah is like the Ketubah. Now, says the Gemara, Itmar Nami was also stated. Says Rabbi Abba named Rehuna Rav. Lo Shan we didn't with it. Time only the 100 and 200. But Tosefet Yeshla, but the Tosefet Ketubah she will always get the Tosefet Ketubah. So Amaleh Rabbi Abba Ravuna says Rabbi Abba to Ravuna. Amar Rav Hachi. Does Rav actually say this? Amaleh says Ishtikan Kamarta or Shaken Kamarta. Are you coming to say this to keep me quiet, or to give me right lashtikeni, like to keep me quiet, or ashakyan? Ashakyan is to give me to drink wine. Are you telling me this? Which means, well, you don't hold of this, right? So Amalei says, Ishtikan kamina. I'm telling you this to keep you quiet, right? What does that mean? Basically like this. You said something, right? So basically, I'm going to come and I'm going to tell you, does he really say that? So he says, one second, why did you say that? Are you telling me that in order to keep me quiet, which means that no, that's not correct? Or are you telling me that because Kilu, what? Did you really say such a thing? What does that mean? To give me wine, as if it could say kol hakavod, you said something incredible. By the way, that many times in even in the Hebrew language you have that. For example, I'll give you the example. Chaval al hazman. Chaval al hazman could be used both ways. Sometimes you come and you say, this chaval al hazman. What does it mean? Waste of time. And sometimes what do you say? Zeh chaval al hazman. What does that mean? It's incredible. You don't even understand what's going on. It's the exact same word, but the exact same phrase depends on the way that you say it. The connotation is kilu something good or something bad. You understand? So that's very, very important to understand. Okay? Yes. So that's what he said. He said, Ishtikan kamarta. You trying to keep me quiet, you don't hold it back, or it's so precious to you that you're saying you want to give me wine. Right? So no, I'm told you to keep it quiet. Fine. So the mother-in-law of Rabbi Chia, right, was of Rabbi Chia Rika. He was the wife, Eshet Achiv. Okay? So it says here, she had the daughter from another husband, that she was married to Rabbi Chia Arika. Okay? And she was an almana bevet avia. Vezana, and Rabbi Chia Arika came and he gave her to eat for 25 years venasha in the father's house. Okay, because basically the husband died without children. So therefore he went and the brother inherited it. So he went and he gave her 20 years. So at the end, Amnale, she told him, Havli mizoneh, give me mizonot. Amale, he told her, you don't have it anymore. Right? Havli ketubah, give me the ketubah. Amale lo mizonot, you don't get nothing. No mizonot, no ketubah. So Tavat ledina kamed Rabbi Bashia. So she went, she took him to Betin in front of Rabbi Bashia. Amale, he says, Elmaleh easy. Right? I'm going to tell you, tell me exactly. Gufa duuvga, what was the case? Tell me what was the case. So Amalei, so Chia comes and he tells him, Zanita esrim v'chamesh shanim v'nasha. Right? He comes and he tells him, right? I gave him 25 years in the house of the father. Bechaye demor, right? So he comes and he swears that even on my own ktefayim, on my own shoulders, I went and I brought her to eat. Amalei says, why did the rabbi say this? Because she always gets the ketubah. It's only because she's not embarrassed. That's why. Right? That means basically we're going to say, we're not going to say that she didn't ask for ketubah is because of the busha. Not because she was mochelet. Because she was embarrassed. He's giving her to eat every single day, and now she's also going to ask for the ketubah. So she's embarrassed. So same thing. She was embarrassed. That's why she didn't ask for the ketubah. It wasn't that she was mochelet ketubata. She just was embarrassed to ask for the ketubah. So give her the ketubah. Lo ashkach. Rabbi Chia Rika didn't pay attention to the psak din. Okay? So he didn't pay attention to the psak din. Katavla, he went and he wrote to her, Adrachta nichse, shtar psak din, right, that was giving her to come and write, to take whatever he wanted, which means if somebody doesn't listen to the psak din of a bedin, they come and they wrote it off. Yeah, they wrote it off. So Atala commended Rabbi, they came in front of Rabbi. Elmaleh, he says, Chazi mor, heicha dinan. I want to see what was a psak. Elmaleh, he says, Shapi danach. He says, what? It was a good psak. Amrale, she went and she said, Yachi, so lezo lehada lepire, teminahu yomadina. So you know what? I want also the perot from that day on onwards. So Amalai, when he told her, show me the document. He says he didn't see that it was written this. So Amalai, when he said, he says the drachta, right, was not written properly. Why? Because it was written on the fruits, on the fields of Rabbi Chia Rika, but not everything was written. So Amrale, so she went and she said, let's go and see it. So let's see how it is. One of these words, that's only there's no mistake in the drachta. Remember, the drachta is like the document where the bedin is giving over his properties to the woman, right? But if it was written, there's no problem. So she went and said, you're the one that said it's a ta'ut sofer, it's a mistake of the sofer. Rabbi says, we're going to say it. Even Rabbi Shila, he's going to say the same halacha. Okay, fine. Who savar? He said that at the end of the day, everything belongs to him, whether it's his own properties or the properties of his, everything. So what does it mean, whether it's his own properties or the properties that he got? Meaning he inherited all the properties from his brother. So if he inherited everything, what's the difference between these properties, his own personal properties? It's all the same. Says it's not true. Sometimes it could happen that you're going to come, they're going to appreciate it. And the sadot of the husband, which are in the hands of the Yerushim, sometimes they go down. So therefore, you're not going to pay attention to it. So you could tell her, take yours, right? And give me mine, right? Which means that my own personal properties, don't take my own personal properties. He's going to come and tell her, you take the properties which belong to your husband, which went down in value. But not this. And then you're going to be motzilaz al bedin. Hadran Allah hanose. And that's how we finish the chapter of hanose.